Yeah, I mean, basically, in the end, he was just ready to avert the railroad crisis, right? Oh, sorry. You caught me recording my recap podcast. It's pretty cool. The idea is neat and it's never been done before. What am I doing? Oh, I'm recapping C-SPAN shows. You heard that right. I'm recapping every single show on C-SPAN. Hot shows like Prime Minister's Questions, where the Prime Minister responds to questions from members of Parliament in the House of Commons. And then also Q&A, where compelling conversations about books and history and ideas happens. So that's what I'm doing. Yep, the RSS feed is already set up and you can subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. And we're already raking in Buku Dolores because you idiots love listening to this crap. All right, I got to get back to it because C-SPAN is never off. Anyway.
It's news time. Delivering to you the news you didn't know about, the news you didn't care about, and the news you didn't know you cared about. With host, Chad White. Now, here's that host, Chad White.
Welcome back to News Time. I'm your host, Chad White, and this is the recap news that you didn't know about. You know, a long time ago, when I started doing News Time more regularly, I wanted to do, or C Plus Comedy more regularly, I wanted to do a show called, or a weekly written thing, not even a video show, not an audio show, before I even had a camera. I want to do a show called this is when C Plus Comedy was a news site. I wanted to do something called the weekly recrap. So maybe we bring that back. The recap, where I recapped all the things that I wrote about in the week. I think I did it like, I was just cleaning out the hard drive where all the old C Plus Comedy stuff lives. And I think I did it maybe twice. And I don't think I posted more than once, if that. Anyway, recaps are the everything hot in the news right now in the world of making podcasts because they're easy to do. Don't ever let someone say that it's so hard. It's easy to do. Recaps are so easy because all you have to do is have a couple of segments, watch whatever episode or movie you're doing, and then do it. And you know, these people are going to make their money. And in fact, shows like Law and Order SVU have their own recap podcast. And I know it's been around for 24 years, but do we really need a recap podcast for SVU? There's other shows like The Good Place that also has its own recap podcast, and the thing is that these premiere after every Thursday after the new episode of SVU airs, whatever, over there on NBC. I don't know if this thing is still going on because I've never checked it out. But Late Night with Seth Meyers has a recap podcast, and essentially what the late night version of recap podcasts are is that they just take like all of the monologue and interviews and stuff, and they put them into condensed episodes, like 30-minute episodes. CBS Mornings has one, I believe, and it's just, you know, I mean, we don't really need all these, but one show launched and really changed the world for recap podcasts. It's not Gilmore Guys, because I know that was super popular, but no, I think it's the Office Ladies podcast. Jenna Fisher and Angela Kinsey started the Office Ladies, where they're recapping The Office. And the big stick of it is with these recap podcasts, if you're involved in the show, you bring on all your own co-stars, the creators, the writers, and all that stuff. Now it's like, this is like the biggest thing because you get to talk to Brian Baumgartner, and I don't think Rainn Wilson's done it. I don't know about Steve Carell either, but you get to talk to Paul Lieberstein and every single Mindy Kaling and every single person that starred on The Office, and it's really become a boom for them. It's murder podcasts and then like recap podcasts, and The Office is definitely one of the more popular shows, and especially during the pandemic, I can see that that's how it exploded even more so than that. And thanks to the good people over at E! News, we've got a comprehensive list of shows with recap podcasts. We've got The OC has a recap podcast. What is this? Real Housewives, obviously, that has a couple of them. Friday Night Lights. Oh my God, the Friday Night Lights has 2? Oh no, we can't have this in this world. Do we really need all these? No. Do they work? I mean, yeah, fine. If you love a show that much, like the It's Always Sunny podcast is great and it's really well produced. They've got video and everything. But I'm pulling in new insight from behind the scenes. But ultimately, it's not filling a void of like a news show podcast that you listen to, or even, to an extent, a comedy podcast. But everybody finds their own interesting things and topics, and you don't have to subscribe to them all. And a lot of them are free. It's too bad that they're all making money, and because I wish I was making some. But why don't you help me by subscribing and checking out one of our other videos? Of course, you can head to the website cpluscomedy.com, where I talk to famous people sometimes, and it's not as cool as the Office ladies. You can Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, TikTok at cpluscomedy. Me at Chad Black White. Listen to the Constitutionals podcast wherever you get your podcasts, and it's not a recap podcast. I'm tired of people saying that. I mean, yes, I'm recapping what happened in the news, in the entertainment business news world, but it's putting it more into a succinct way to understand it. So stop saying it's a recap podcast, and Apple Podcasts, please feature me